For the British schoolchild, there could be few things that sum up the autumn more perfectly than a good old-fashioned game of conkers. I remember my first game. Stood short-trousered in the playground. My adversary took aim with his wizened and long-pickled prize sevener. The string whipped back and bang, it was all over. But where did this ferocious duel originate? What makes it still so appealing to boys and girls today? And how does one prepare the perfect battle conker? The horse chestnut tree, or Aesculus hippocastanium to give it its proper name, originated in southeast Europe and was brought to Britain from Turkey in the late 16th century. It was planted as an ornamental tree, and for this reason it's rarely spotted in natural forest and woodland, but instead it's mainly found in parks, gardens and city streets. Now, mature trees grow to a height of around 40 metres and can live for up to 300 years. That's time for an awful lot of games of conkers. In fact, the tree under which some schoolboy first picked up a shiny conker and thought, I've got an idea here, may well be still going strong today, as the first record of this peculiarly British sport is from the Isle of Wight in 1848. It's likely that the game has been around in some form or another for far longer. The Boys' Own Annual of 1829 mentions the game of the conqueror, which is described as being played with snail shells. The one advantage I can see with playing conkers with snail shells is that you can do it all year round. The conker season's a short one, but perhaps in part that helps account for the enduring appeal of conkers. There isn't time for it to get dull.
I'm St John Burkitt, and I'm one of the organisers of the World Conker Championships, which are held on the second Sunday in October every year. One of the attractions of conkers is the way it fits into the year, that the year is marked by various events, and conkers and collecting conkers is one of them. In many ways, it heralds the start of autumn, I think. Children go back to school, and then, if their parents remind them about it, they'll think about conkers.
Obviously, the conkers only come onto the tree sometime during the autumn. And you're gathering them probably in late September, early October. You enjoy playing the conker games, and by the time you've got to late October, November, people aren't interested much anymore. But that doesn't matter, because they will be interested again next year. I know my son was. I taught him how to play conkers many years ago now, and I think he's going to pass it on to his child as well.
Conkers are an essential part of autumn. And from the Ladybird book, I'm reading out a paragraph. The prickly seed shucks of the chestnut have fallen and burst open, some of them spilling the brown conkers out of the smooth, soft linings that have contained and nourished them. There is pleasure in picking up these great, well-polished seeds, holding them in the hands and thinking of all the things that can be done with them.
I think the enduring appeal is memory of perhaps the way things were and perhaps how you'd like them to be. Everybody thinks it's very traditionally English.
So there you have it, a free seasonal pastime that doesn't give short attention span children a chance to get bored. A sense of tradition that drives nostalgic fathers to go conker hunting with their sons, and that all-important ingredient, jeopardy. Not just the fear of your next battle being your conker's last, but the visceral dread of feeling the thwack of hard nut on finger when you take on your latest opponent. But if you are going to risk the use of your hands on a conker tournament, how do you make sure that your conker is a winner?
You don't want it too big, and you don't want it too small. Nice roundish conker without any flat parts on it. That tends to be a weaker part.
Put them in vinegar or something like that overnight to harden them up, because obviously the harder the conker, the better chance it's got of splitting your opponent's conker, which we're hoping has not been artificially hardened like that. When you've used the conker and you've won, then you tie a knot in the string to show that you've got one victory, and that just continues until somebody defeats you, your conker is burst, and you're left with a string with about, what, five knots in it or 6 knots in it. And that's the end of your conker fight.
So there you have it. It seems Britain is still bonkers about conkers after more than 200 years. And as long as there are bootlaces and little boys and girls, the playgrounds of this country will doubtless echo to the sound of conker against conker. And fingers.